What's happening, YouTube, and all the life gainers tuning in to see me tonight? Well, it looks like you got me alone. I have no idea where the living legend Larry is. Hopefully, he's good. Like I said, we never check in with each other. I just come up with topics and we just spitball them off the top of the dome. And hopefully, he'll be checking in real soon. But we do have 7 great topics that I want to cover with you all today. They range from politics, movies and TV shows, all the way down to helping you guys make those life gains in the stock market. And without further ado, let me shout out everybody that's coming to the building to show the Life Gains channel a little bit of love. CJ32, Be More Careful 95, Kendall Suggs, Mike Willie, and all the rest of y'all 20 some odd folks that are checking in. I really appreciate you coming through, showing some love. And we're going to go ahead and start letting some of you guys pick the numbers. So I've got 1 through 7 today. And Mike Willie, you get the first number. What's good, 351 Cleveland? What's good, Support Gaming? Mike Willie, you get the first crack. My folk Tim Windsor done hit the building. Mike, pick a number 1 through 7. Kendall, pick a number 1 through 7. Be More Careful, pick a number 1 through 7. And we are going to hash these things out as we go. Hopefully, my brother Larry will check in sooner or later. And so Mike Willie has decided he wants to go with number 5. Oh, man. Mike and Kendall wanted to go with number 5. So, Kendall, you got to pick a different number. Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, in my community, y'all know what CPT time is. Take a look at who decided to pop up on CPT.
What's happening, man?
What's going on, living legend Larry? How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there. A little hectic, trying to get everything together. Camera wasn't coming up. I don't know. It's my stuff, man. It might be time for some new gear.
Hey man, all that stuff that they're doing with Apple, they're saying that computer, the MacBook Pro, is the best ever created. They're saying that their new iPhone is the best ever created since they're using their own computer chip now. You might need to go and get some of that stuff, man. I have not read a bad review yet, and I'm digging hard trying to find a bad review.
Yeah, I haven't really heard anything about the only negative I've heard about any of it is people who have bought the MacBook Air have returned it because they said that they bought the MacBook Air, the performance is fantastic, but then they said because it doesn't have a fan built into it, that it can't sustain that performance because after a while it heats up and so it has to slow down in order not to overheat the internals. Whereas the MacBook Pro has a fan in it, so it can maintain that high performance level. So, but I think you have a lot of people that are doing stuff with the MacBook Air that is not really intended. It's not designed to do. Like I don't think it's designed to do, heavy video editing and stuff like that. That's going to require it to constantly have to run at its top level. I think that's why you would get a MacBook Pro for something like that.
Well, I can tell you that right now because I've been doing everything on this MacBook Air that I have, and to render 1080p for 15 minutes, forget it. To upload to YouTube 1080p, it's like 2 hours. And there is no way in hell it should take 2 hours to upload 1080p on this MacBook Air. But you know what? I will be upgrading. My folk Tressa C says she's got the MacBook Pro. I guess the new one. She said it's all right. I got to get my crummy hands on it because there's a lot of processor heavy things I like to do. But without further ado, Larry, Mike Willie has already picked a number, and he picked number 5, and we're going to run with it. So number 5 today, ladies and gentlemen, have y'all had enough of this guy? 50 Cent. If you haven't had enough of him and Mary J. Blige are getting ready to do a show together on ABC. It's going to be a comedy, and let me read to you guys what it says. Now, remember, keep in mind, 50 Cent was trolling Empire, and he was trolling Mary when she popped up on Empire. So basically, they're going to be doing a show called Family Affair, focuses on a has-been R&B musician named Aaron. Oh, Lord. Whose life is turned upside down.
Huh?
A-Rod, man. I mean, damn, just go ahead and say A-Rod like we playing baseball.
Or go say Akon, like you're talking about Akon.
I'm locked up. When he takes his sister's 4 children to raise. As Aaron transitioned into fatherhood, he finds out that the musical talent was also passed down to his niece and nephews. He then decides not only to be their father figure, but also their manager and forms them a music group. As he juggles the dual role, he struggles to find the balance between being a father and a manager. The show will be written by Devin and Renata Shepard, being Mary Jane, The Neighborhood, Born Again Virgin, and executive produced by 50 Cent. Larry, how do you feel? Some of them shows that those producers have done, I'm not a fan of, but you know what? I might give it a shot. How do you feel about it?
Sounds pretty popcorn to me. I probably won't. I mean, if I see the trailers and they look good, I might give it a shot. But otherwise, like I watched Empire for like 2 seasons, and it just got over the top ratchet. So I was like, nah, I'm out. Can't deal with it. Too many negative stereotypes they're just promoting. And then some of the other stuff just looked way too popcorn. So, but sometimes popcorn's fun.
Doesn't it not sound like another version of Empire? Only difference is instead of it being his kids, it's his nieces and nephews that he's trying to be a father figure for and forming groups. It kind of has a little bit of the Empire appeal to it, which is what I think 50 and them is getting at. Only difference is this is supposed to be a comedy.
I'll tell you where they should. I'll tell you where this should go. It shouldn't go to ABC. It should go to ABC Family and make it like a straight up comedy family joint. And then the popcornness of it, the sort of cheesiness of it, it will be wholly appropriate.
You know,
we'll
see. You know, I'm not going to rule it out just yet, ladies and gentlemen, because I need to see who are going to be the actors. That's important. Now, if you get the right actors, they'll suck you in for a couple of episodes, but then it's going to have to fall on the script. For now, I'm gonna just say I'm up in the air.
Actors sucking people in. That's just getting all provocative and stuff, man. Jeez, it's a family show.
Don't worry, I got one for you that's beyond provocative. So, having said that, since you popped in here a little late, I'll go ahead and give you the next number. We're doing 1 through 7, and number 5 has already been taken. So it's on you now, Larry.
All right, let's go with lucky number 1.
Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know this brother very, very well. He doesn't need any introduction. This is my folk, Denzel Washington, ladies and gentlemen.
Denny.
He made a little bit of news because his son said, I think the best actor in the industry, in the business, is my father. Y'all know John David Washington, Ballers. We're lobbying for him to be the next T'Challa in Black Panther. He's the son of Denzel Washington. And Denzel Washington is a multiple Oscar winner. And so the question that I pose to you, Larry, even though we know that Denzel Washington's son is extremely biased, me and you aren't. Does he have a case to be made that Denzel Washington is the best in the game when it comes to acting in Hollywood, in America?
Yeah. I mean,
make your case.
I mean, I think if you just look at his body of work, I think it's pretty evident. I mean, he's the best actor of our generation and the best actor, arguably, I would say, of all time. I know a lot of people would like to try and throw other actors in there like Marlon Brando and Charlton Heston and some of those guys, but I would have to say that I would have to discount those guys in some respect because this is a guy who has created a career and won Oscars in the midst of Hollywood's racism and bigotry.
Larry, wait. CJ32, you got to be trolling.
He always trolls, man.
You trying to sit here and tell me that Denzel Washington can't tie Leonardo DiCaprio's shoes? You disqualified. You
Oh,
disqualified
jeez.
for being that low. We can't take you serious no more. And I try to take you seriously. But to say that Denzel can't tie Leonardo DiCaprio's shoes, forget it. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, that's just sort of ridiculous. I mean, I'm not gonna diss Leonardo DiCaprio, but here's the
No,
thing.
I'm not dissing him. That's not a diss, Larry. I'm not
I know,
dissing
I
him.
hear what you're saying. I just think it's ridiculous for him to even say that. But here's the thing that people have to realize is that when you are a black actor in Hollywood, that you have to make the best that you can. You have to deliver Oscar caliber, performances on roles in movies that may not be Oscar caliber movies. You know, I mean, they don't give those roles typically to black folks. Black folks have to turn those movies into Oscar movies. They're not given those movies that they're cast in generally are not Oscar movies. They don't get these movies and say, "Oh, this has Oscar buzz to it." Nah, those movies were regular movies that black people got cast in, and then they acted the crap out of them. I mean, let's not forget that he won an Oscar for Training Day. Training Day was not an Oscar caliber. Training Day was a shoot 'em up cops and robbers movie, and he made that movie something special. I mean, let's not forget about it. But at the same time, there's a lot of politics in the way they deliver Oscars out there, and I think that they like to reward black actors for roles that they want to see us in. They want to see us being the corrupt, dirty cop, so they give them an Oscar for it. But just the year before, I think that Denzel delivered probably one of the best performances any actor has ever given in a movie, which was in Hurricane. I think that was probably the finest performance an actor has ever delivered on the screen. And they decided instead that even though they knew it was a great role and a great performance, I think that they gave it to what's his name, Kevin Spacey that year, because they didn't want to give it to a black man for playing a positive role, for righting the injustices of our criminal justice system. I don't think they wanted to reward a performance with that sort of story and that sort of message. Instead, they wanted to continue to perpetuate the stereotype of the negative, the negativity, the bad cop, the corrupt cop, the black dude that's in that. And so I think they wanted that, and that's why they rewarded him with that. Because what happens is you reward people with that, and then the studios say, well, let's make a movie like this. This is what the Academy wants. This is what the Academy awards you with. I mean, when you look at the roles that black people win for, they're winning for, bad cop, dirty cop, criminal. The women win it for being naked, for being
showing
a house maid or something like. Yeah. The one exception to that, and it's not even an exception because well, no, I guess it is an exception. I guess it's just the one exception to that is what was that one with Taraji P. Henson when I think the movie won, but not her as the actor for the one where she was the mathematician. She played Catherine. What's her name?
When the three chicks and they was the ones that helped them go to space.
Yeah, they played the NASA computers.
I can't think of it, but that was more based on a true story.
So, I understand it, but my point is that the Hurricane was based on a true story.
That's right. It was. Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is that they generally just don't give black actors Oscars for playing good roles. I mean, occasionally
Hidden Figures, Larry. The name was Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures, that's right. So that was a great one. I mean, some of the rare times they give black actors, I mean, it's very rare. Denzel won one for what I thought was a positive role. Some black people didn't, but the role where he played in the best supporting actor role that Oscar he got for Glory, some people didn't think that his character was positive. I thought his character was probably very realistic. You have a young man who's been in slavery, escaped, was violent and angry, and was willing to fight and wanted to fight everybody and everything around him. And a lot of black people didn't like seeing that, but I can only imagine how many of us are angry now just with what we see. I can't even imagine how much anger you would feel if you were actually had been in bondage and escaped. So I'm okay with that, even though, but that was one. The only other time I could really think of is like Jamie Foxx's character when he won for Ray. And there was a lot of aspects of that Ray character that a lot of people were like, this is a negative role. They're showing him as a ultra philandering drunk, junkie, and just there was so much negativity about him in there. But I think you needed that to tell the real story of the man, which is fine. But those are the only two where I can see where where black people played probably a positive role or mostly a positive role and got an Oscar. Usually it's something else. It's the help and people are playing maids or mammies or or drug dealers or something. It's just, and don't get me wrong, it's not like there's a ton, or you have like Halle Berry playing that role where she's some basically homeless, some whatever, not homeless, but some downtrodden chick who basically starts having sex with a racist white man. It's like Hollywood gets on this bullshit when it comes to black actors winning Oscars and the roles that they should have won them for versus the roles that they do win. And people recognize what the Academy actually will deliver Oscars on, and then those types of movies, those types of stories have a tendency to get made more often because people want to win those awards. And it's shameful. I know that nowadays, because there are more people of color, there has been a very concerted effort within the Academy to diversify the voting, the voting parts, the voting members of the Academy, that there are more actors of color, there's more women, and I think and I hope that it's changing, not just the number of people that are being recognized, the different types of people being recognized, but the types of films and the types of stories that are being recognized.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter what your barometer is for measuring how good an actor is. Whether it's hardware, Denzel has that. Longevity, Denzel has that. Range, Denzel has that. It doesn't matter what you try to use as criteria for the best actor. And Denzel's going to be in every category. He checks every box. I can't think of anyone that I could put in a higher box than him. And that's not to say that George Clooney is not a phenomenal actor, because he is. You could probably put him in there. Sean Connery, people would say he's one of the greatest to ever do it. It doesn't matter what box or criteria you put for best actor. And we're talking about people who transcend time. Denzel is one of those people. And so if they ever decide to create a Hall of Fame for actors, Denzel is definitely getting in there.
Well, they do. They have the Oscars, the Academy Awards the Lifetime Achievement Awards that they hand out to people. There are some people who never have won an Oscar, but their body of work is so substantial that they will give them a Lifetime Achievement Award. And there are people that have done that. And
he's getting in. He's definitely getting in.
Well, he's in already because he's won 2 Oscars.
Exactly.
So he's already in that conversation as one of the best because he's won 2 Oscars. But let's just like you were mentioning, just with his range and the different types of roles he's played. This dude has played all kinds of roles, from very serious roles like the Hurricane. He's played sort of the good cop bad cop thing, like he did with Training Day. He's played an action hero in Marvel movies with the Equalizer. He's played all kinds of stuff. He's been in that other terrible action movie that came out with John Lithgow right after he won his first Oscar, and I can't remember the name of that movie now. Ricochet.
Muchella is saying he's on the committee now also. Wow. So I mean, what more can you say?
I mean, the dude checks all the boxes. He checks all the boxes, and I personally have to say, and I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're biased because you're black and he's black." No, I just genuinely think that if you look at all the actors out there and the actors that have played different types of roles and have done all of them extraordinarily well, Denzel is the greatest actor, I'm going to say right now, of all time. Because when you look back at some of the older actors that people would say were the best, like Marlon Brando or Charlton Heston, or even more recently when you look at people like, Dustin Hoffman and Jack Nicholas and some of those, they are good actors. But I don't see them with the same range that Denzel has. I see a lot of those actors generally playing the same types of roles over the course of their career, and they do see them playing different types of roles, branching out and really expanding their range, and Denzel has. And the only thing I can't think of Denzel really doing as of any sort of time recently is sort of like a true slapstick type comedy, but those aren't really recognized. People that do those aren't really recognized for their acting prowess anyways, even though they should be. The only other actor out there that I would say, there's two really, but probably one that I would say would probably be in the same conversation would probably be, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. I would say they would be in the same conversation, but I feel like those two, in a lot of ways, they're in that same situation where they haven't had that. They always don't show their whole range. Like, I think they could do the same thing, but they haven't always showed their entire range. I think De Niro has done so more than Pacino. Like, I love the fact that De Niro did those comedies with what's his name, with what's the kid that when they did the Fockers, the movie Meet the Fockers, and the other one where he played the father. He played the father of the woman that was coming home to introduce her fiance to him, and the guy, Ben something, forgot his name. He's a comedian. He was a nurse, and the guy was like a former CIA, asset or agent, and it's just a whole bunch of craziness that ensues. But it was a real true comedy. And he did another comedy where he did the one with Billy Crystal, where he played the mob boss that had to go in to get therapy. And he did that really, really well. And I think that it was fantastic to show his range. And so I think probably, so they even mentioned, just thinking of that, I would have to say I would probably put De Niro in that same category more so than Al Pacino. So, I'm going to say probably, if you're the only person out there, I don't know, whoever had the audacity to mention Leonardo DiCaprio needs to go back and slap themselves. Come on, I'm not dissing Leo like he can't act, but you're not putting Leonardo DiCaprio in the same conversation with Denzel Washington and Robert De Niro. That's just utter absurdness right there.
Well, we're going to move on to Buzz's number. I will say Denzel's definitely, he's in the category 1 through 3 or 4. And he moves up for me because he had to overcome barriers that a lot of other people didn't have to overcome. You got to think Denzel has been around since the 80s. And the times back then were nowhere the way they are now. And he was able to overcome those barriers way back then. So I'm going to say, that's it. No more. We got to go.
Last thing, please.
No. That's it.
I'll keep it short.
And when you say short, I mean 15 seconds short. Go ahead.
All right. So here's the thing, is all this talk about who's the best actor, I think we also have to consider women in that, because we separate them as categories, but we're not talking about them. And there are actors out there like Meryl Streep, who has won multiple Oscars, more than the men have won. And she has probably had more limitations put on her career as a woman than some of the men have. And so we have to add the women in the conversation too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I agree with that. I agree with that. She's one. Maybe we'll come back and do best women actress. But in any event, we're moving on. Buzz did a super chat, so you know what time it is, Buzz. Which one are we going to give you today, Buzz? Which one?
Sean Green threw Forrest Whitaker in the conversation. I have to say Forrest Whitaker is probably one of the best all-arounders. As far as writer, director, actor, he's one of the best all-arounders.
What I should have done, I should have made a list, because to just put one, no one is a monolith when it comes to this acting thing, because a lot of people have range and can do a lot of things, but we'll have to revisit this one another day.
Oh no, you were right. I totally agree with you. I still think you're right. I think that Denzel Washington is the GOAT. I think he's the best of all time, and I'll stand by it. I think that probably a very second to him is probably Robert De Niro, and then there's a whole bunch of other really great actors.
Yep, Buzz, this is for you, my man. Oh my goodness. So Buzz picked number 7, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy. Larry,
I feel like we need to have a whole episode of just who's the best actor. People keep throwing stuff up in the comment section, getting these conversations going, talk about Will Smith is good too. Will Smith is good, but that's the difference. Will Smith is a good actor. He's not a great actor. He is a good actor.
He's got range. I mean, like I said, we'll have to revisit this like Wednesday or something. We bring a guest on. So for you, Buzz, number 7, we're going to talk about this. Is why I said you would like this one, Buzz. This is your president, and this is your president this weekend, Buzz. Do you see what he's doing? He was golfing this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just going to use golfing as part of the story to careen into what I really want to talk about. So let's just talk about his ass golfing, all right? Mind you, we're in a pandemic that has seen 251,000 deaths. We are approaching numbers deaths among Americans that this country hasn't seen since the Civil War, which was like 600 some odd thousand. We still need a relief bill. The G20 summit on coronavirus was going on this weekend, and my man is out here like deuces. Now, let me read you this. According to data maintained by the website TrumpGolfCount.com, the 45th president of the United States has clocked up to 285 days visiting golf clubs since his inauguration, with evidence of golf being played at least 142 occasions up to November 8th, 2020. Even though that comes nowhere near Eisenhower's tally. Now, y'all remember Eisenhower had a golf course built on the White House lawn. It's still higher than Obama's 105. Damn, still higher? 285 to 105, man, come on. During the same time period when the president decided to take up a golfing trip, it is pretty expensive. Undertaken with transport, Air Force One, Secret Service, blah, blah, blah. Trips cost in total, this is what he's taken from the taxpayers, $190 million. The man has only been in the White House for 1,400 days, and he has spent almost 300 of those days on the golf course. Larry, is this the kind of leadership you want? Is this the kind of leadership that you are happy to see 70 some odd million people voting for in this country?
No, and to be honest with you, when you I mean, it's not just about the amount of money that he's spending, which it is a lot, but it's also the fact that every time he goes out there to golf, when he goes, because often, I mean, it's one thing if he's going over to the Army Navy golf course here in Virginia, just outside of DC. That's a short trip away. But most of the time he's going out to one of his courses down in Mar-a-Lago or someplace, Mar-a-Lago. And the thing is that whenever he goes down there, he's not just costing the taxpayers money, but he's making money by golfing, because all the Secret Service agents that have to go down there, they have to sleep and eat and whatever else they rent conference rooms and all the other stuff, all of that. And he's charging them for that. He's charging them full fare for that. And so every time he goes down there, he's making money off of us. He's basically being paid. At this point, he's basically a de facto golf pro, because he's being paid to golf. And basically the American taxpayers are sponsoring him.
And then the word on the street is he be out there cheating on the golf course. Damn.
And here's the thing: if you just look at his hat and his stuff versus other presidents, you see, like, for instance, the other guy next to him, I don't know who he is, but the other guy golfing with him has a USA hat on. Trump has a Make America Great hat on. And if you look at other presidents like Obama and Bush and such, when they golfed, they were very much wearing stuff that had to do with the country, not some branded statement that he's using to sell. Like Obama would wear, he would wear a military hat or a military jacket to sort of support whatever, branch of the military he was, he felt he wanted to give a little shine to at that moment. Or he would wear his POTUS jacket or his POTUS hat. And, and Trump, you never see him doing that. You always see him wearing, his Make America Great crap. Even when he goes out to visit the troops, you don't necessarily see him rocking a Marine Corps jacket. Like you would see Bush that would rock a flight jacket. I mean, granted, he used to be a pilot, so maybe he feels like that's cool. But you would see Obama, he would rock like a Marine bomber jacket or an Army jacket or something. He would rock something, at the very least, he would wear a POTUS jacket. And the only time I've ever seen Trump out there wear anything that's not a Make America Great stuff when he goes to those things is like he'll wear like a 45 jacket or something, which, I mean, you're going to visit the troops. How about you put on a Army jacket or a Navy jacket, whatever branch you're going to, just to sort of show a little support, Forget about Make America Great in that moment. How about truly be great for America and just support the troops you're out there visiting? But he doesn't really visit them because let's be real, both our last four former presidents visited the troops often. I think Trump has gone 2-3 times. That's crazy.
Well, I think for me, the biggest issue is this. I know you're getting ready to be walking out the door, but the way you claim you're fighting because there are some inaccuracies in the voting, you act like you're not walking out the door. So if you're not going to be walking out the door, if your behavior is I'm not leaving this office, your ass should be doing everything you can to help the American people in a pandemic. This G20 coronavirus summit was about the pandemic and how it's affecting the world and how we are exploding more than any other country in the world with coronavirus when most of the country relies on us for damn near everything. And your ass is out there golfing. We've got a bill that needs to be signed and put into law before you get out of office because the middle class and the lower class folks are starving and hungry. Hell, they having to get rations from Tyler Perry for crying out loud because your ass is not doing your job. That's the part that bothers me. And it makes no damn sense that instead of being a part of that, instead of helping do what you can do on your way out, you choose to just say, hey, I'm done. Even though I'm telling y'all I'm not done, I'm really done. And I'm just going to suck down as much more money as I possibly can from you sad taxpayers that love me. And then when I get out of office, until they put my ass in jail, I am going to be sucking you guys down for everything Larry said. Make America Great hats, TV shows. I'm going to be doing paid rallies and all that. But the interesting news came up today, Larry. They've been trying to block the funds for the transition to Biden, correct?
Right.
Well, in breaking news tonight, the GSA head, Emily Murphy, came out and decided that because they certified the electoral votes in Michigan, that there's no way Trump, no matter what he pulls, if he can find a corrupt judge, there's no way he's going to be the president. And she decided to go ahead, sign the paperwork to get Biden those funds. And then this dumbass is going to come out and tweet this bull job about he wanted to thank her because he put her in office. And he's trying to act like he told her to do this. And he's trying to couch it as, I told her to do it because I got tired of the death threats to her family. All this gobbledygook BS that people use for excuses. And finally, he comes down here and says, in the best interest of the country, I'm recommending that Emily and her team do what needs to be done in regards to initial protocols. And I have told my team to do the same thing. Man,
so he's trying to play it off as he's concerned about this woman's safety and well-being. So now he's saying, go ahead and do this because I'm worried about her safety and well. If you were worried about some government official's safety and well-being, you can just give them a security detail. That's it. You don't need to go ahead and capitulate. If that's the case, and basically what you're saying is you're going to give in to threats of whoever's out there threatening something, you're just going to give into it. If you're truly concerned about the safety and security of an employee, you give them a security detail. You don't capitulate. You don't give in to the demands of someone, of some terrorist threat. You don't do that. That's just craziness. That's ludicrous. It makes them look even weaker. He thinks he's saying that to make himself look strong. It makes him look even weaker and dumb.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, goodbye, Trump. It's been real. Kit rocks. Remember, donate to the Georgia Senate race so that Biden can turn that spigot on for the middle class and the poor because they need it. GASenate.com is where you can send a $2, $3, whatever donation you can. I'm so happy that we're about to be rid of that idiot. Hopefully, we'll be rid of him permanently by putting his ass in jail. And that'll also lock down and break the mentality of his dumbass followers. Because, ladies and gentlemen, here to tell you, the followers that follow Trump are more dangerous to us than what Trump is. Because they believe in this idiocy. They're sitting here bailing out Kyle Rittenhouse, who goes to a riot and shoots up people. And Larry, last I checked,
it wasn't a riot. It was a protest. He turned it into something terrible because he started shooting people.
I thought, Larry, last I checked, that the Republicans were voting for law and order. Right? Ain't that what they claimed they was voting for?
Law and order doesn't apply to white people. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
And it doesn't apply to white people unless you're a white person that's fighting for the rights of black people and brown people. Then all of a sudden it applies. Because let's not forget, he shot and killed 2 white people. He didn't shoot and kill 2 black people. He shot and killed 2 white people. So they still, because the fact that those people were out there fighting and protesting for the rights of black people, they're the same. They're worse in a lot of people's eyes. A lot of the people on the right and those white supremacist groups, those white people are worse because they are viewed as race traitors. Whereas, of course, they would expect black people to fight for our own rights. But to have white people to go over and fight for the rights of black folks too, to fight for the rights of their fellow Americans, they think of that as race trading, and they look at those people as worse. And so, yeah, so for them, they don't really care. The dude went out there and killed a couple of in-lovers, and so they're of course they're going to bail him out. That's what they want. I hope that the Justice Department goes after him. I hope the feds go after him. And if the states don't convict him, I hope the feds are waiting there at the courthouse to arrest him and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, you crossed state lines and you went and took possession of an illegal firearm, and that is a federal offense. And then you killed 2 people and crossed state lines again, which is also a federal offense. So we're going to be prosecuting you." I hope that the feds do that. If the state lets them off, which I don't put any stock in what the state does. I mean, you have a local government there, the local police department that was working with this guy. So I have no confidence and faith in the judicial system, period, but especially there. So I would like to see, if he gets off, I would like to see the feds, basically wait at the courthouse and arrest him and prosecute him. If he goes to jail for this and they give him some ridiculous thing where they lock him up, but they say, "Oh, well, we gave him 20 years, but he's such a young kid, so we're not going to charge him as an adult. We're only going to charge him as a teenager or as a child. So that basically means a minor. So that basically means he's only going to be able to be in jail till he's 21. I hope the second he gets out of jail, I hope the feds pick him up and charge him with federal offenses, because he can do that. It's not double jeopardy. It's a federal offense, something different. So,
yeah, man, it's just nuts. But we'll follow that story as it unfolds. Next one, Larry. Go ahead.
I want to say that people in the comment section are saying that there needs to be a moderator sometimes, because you have some idiots that get in there and start talking crap. Like there's this dude, this Emanuel's talking about what is Biden going to do for blacks. I'll wait. All that. First of all, for all you people out there who think that Biden is not going to be friendly to black folks, or he's not going to work to help bring, social justice or anything else. There's a difference what people do when they have executive privilege, and when people actually when they're put in charge, versus when they're one of 100. or in the Senate, or when you look at the Congress as a whole, one of 100 and one of 535. And so it's a difference when you are the one person in charge and you have more authority and power to do stuff. And if you want to ask about what's Biden going to do for black people, well, here's one thing he's already done. He named his vice president. He selected a black person as his vice president. That is, I cannot underestimate how important that is. It's just like with Barack, when you can see yourself in that, when you can see the possibilities in it, then you have people that are going to strive for it. A lot of black people never really thought, I'm going to be president. They never thought. All they saw were 40, were 43 other presidents that were all white. They never saw the possibility of that. And then you have someone like Barack who has, the audacity to believe he can be and then does become that. Well, when you have someone like Biden who says, well, you know what? Why can't a woman be vice president? And why can't it be a black woman? And if for those people out there who don't think that voting matters and being, and voting as a black person matters, Joe Biden selected a black woman as his running mate because black women kept him in this fight. When he was going into South Carolina and his campaign was on the ropes and he was on his last leg, it was black women in that state that went out and voted and kept him in this fight. And now he is the president-elect, about to be inaugurated and sworn in as president. So yeah. So when he decides these are the people that fought for me and had my back, I'm gonna have their back too. I can't give them the presidency because, well, that's me. I'm going to be the president. But what I can do is give them the next best seat at the table, And let's not forget, Joe Biden's old as dirt. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I'm not wishing anything bad on him. But if you're talking about a time and a place where you might actually see the vice president become president, this is probably as serious a time as ever. And I'm not hoping for that. Don't want that. I want to see him serve out his whole term and then see Kamala Harris run in her own right and win. But let's not forget, he chose a black person because black people had his back. So if you ask, what is he going to do? We did something for him. He did something for us. And he's naming plenty of black people to his cabinet and into positions of power in his administration. So if all you can think about is what is he going to do for us is some sort of crazy hogwash idea of reparations and 40 acres and a mule, then you don't really understand this country and the way it works. We're never getting that. Give that up. Just throw that window out, the idea. You want reparations? It may come in some form, but it's not going to be what you think it is. So when people are given seats at the table, when you have black people that are given seats at the table and they're able to be a part of the conversation, or for all you Hamilton lovers, when we're able to be in the room when it happens, you have no idea how important that is. You have no idea. It's just like in Hollywood. If you're writing a script if you're writing a TV show,
Larry, pin it.
I'm just saying you have to have black people in the room. Otherwise, black people aren't represented.
We shouldn't even have given them that much knowledge because, like I said, if they don't understand 2 sentences of what you said, they have an intelligence gap, Larry. And furthermore, when they ask you stupid stuff like that, just ignore them. I do. Ignore them. We know better. And that's why their guy lost. Ignore
I generally do, but the problem is that sometimes when you ignore them, sometimes people think, how come he ignored him? How come he didn't say anything? Maybe he doesn't have a good answer. Maybe I should start listening to people like that. They feel like those people, sometimes people feel like those people should be listened to, and they shouldn't. Sometimes, I'm not going to say I'm going to respond to those people all the time, but sometimes you need to push back on the BS. You need to just push back enough to say, no, you're full of crap. Here's why you're full of crap. And if you don't understand why, then there's nothing really that can be done for you. But yeah, the fact of the matter is that Joe Biden has already done stuff for black people by just selecting, it's not a little just. Having a black vice president is not a small thing.
No,
it is not a small thing.
History is inspiration, and inspiring people to do better is a whole lot better for black people than what Trump has done by inspiring them to continue to fucking hate. That's
And let's
what you
not
got with
forget, she's
Trump.
not only the vice president, she's also the president of the Senate. She went from being a junior senator or a freshman senator, I guess she was really a junior senator, to to the leading position in the Senate. She is the president of the Senate. I mean, if we end up in a position where we end up with a completely divided Senate where you have 50-50, guess what? She's going to be that deciding vote. If you don't think that's not power, you just don't understand what power is then.
Right. Moving right along. Here's one with power. Now, Larry, there's only one reason why I'm doing this particular one. There's only one reason. Because I want to compare this.
I'm stopping right quick. I'm sorry, damn it. This idiot has gotten under my skin a little bit.
Larry,
then we're moving on. This fool talk about Kamala is Indian. Kamala is mixed. There's a lot of black people in this country that are mixed. She is mixed. But guess what? Kamala calls herself black. Kamala went to an HBCU. She is a Howard grad in an AKA. Kamala didn't go to a primarily Indian university. Kamala didn't join an Indian sorority. Nah. She is a black woman. If you ask her, she tells you she is a black woman. She's mixed, but if you ask her, Kamala, are you black? Yeah, I'm a black woman. She may also respect and appreciate and recognize her Indian heritage, but that doesn't mean that she's running around talking about she's Indian. Yeah, there are Indian people out there that are trying to claim her, and they do claim her to some extent, but everybody wants to claim the other half once they get in positions of power. White people kept trying to do that shit with Obama too. They were running around trying to say Obama's half white. He's half white. No, he's wholly black. You don't get to be half white in this country. You are all black. That's just the way it is. And so you could be mixed with anything else and you are still all black in this country. She's no different. Look at her history. She is all black. You can like her, you can hate her, but she still is a black woman. And don't try and disrespect a black person by trying to say because they have heritage of something else that they are not black. That is crazy and that's crazy and reductive. And you should be ashamed of yourself as a human being for even saying that garbage.
Yeah, Larry, you got to ignore them. You got to ignore them because simply what they want to do is get the show off mission. And like I said before last week, the intelligence issue is not on you because you're highly intelligent. The intelligence issue is on these idiots. One way or the other one. It don't matter how you get away from it. The
problem is, you have people out there that think this way and they spread that nonsense and there's never people pushing back. You just end up with people say, just ignore them, and they don't push back on them. And then the next thing you know, you look up and you have entire swaths of black men out there not voting. Because they think like this. I hate it when I see black people out there that are online. They're influencers. They have hundreds of thousands of followers, sometimes millions of followers online, and they tell black people you shouldn't vote. It's nonsense. What are these people going to do for you? They're not going to do anything for you if you don't vote. Why should they? If they can't count on you for your support, why should they help you?
Well, I mean, I'm with you. Larry, I'm with you on all that, but the subject matter we're covering didn't even pertain to any of that. And we've talked about these things before when we get in subject matter that covers those issues.
Man.
We're not covering none of that with these idiots today. They've lost, they're going nuts, and they don't know what to do. And you're right. A lot of black men was lost on this, but today ain't the time to give them any credence because we're trying to take victory lap to win this thing and put America back on a good course. And so we're going to move on. Let me see here. Okay. I'm only doing this subject, ladies and gentlemen, not because I care about the merit of the substance, but just because I want to compare this. I'm going to make it a single video to another video I'm going to do tonight about stocks. This is Lena Waithe and her ex-wife. They're getting divorced. And the reason why they're sad to be getting divorced is because Lena's been hanging out with this woman. Larry, you know who that woman is?
Yeah, that's the British chick that played
Harriet Tubman. Do you even give a damn why they breaking up?
No, in fact, I think it's hilarious and sort of, in some respects and she's just, I mean, that woman that played Harriet made some really ugly comments about black men and about black American men and black men in general, but she's made some really ugly things, said some ugly things because she was married to a white dude, if I'm not mistaken. And I read some of the crap she said, and I was like, man, fuck that bitch. I was like, I'm so sick of people that say shit about black men. I mean, the reality of it is men are men are men. White, black, Asian, Hispanic, doesn't matter what the hell nationality you are. Men are going to be men. There's good men, there's bad men. And if you want to reduce everybody of a particular race to, every man of a particular race to just one type of thing, then F you and the planet that you live on. And so for those two, I don't really care. I mean, if you have two people in Hollywood that are a bunch of cheaters, they're running around, sleeping around with other people, cheating. I gives a hot damn. I mean, they're going to find happiness in each other for a few months or maybe a year, and then they'll cheat on each other with somebody else and move on. I really don't care. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of Lena Waithe and her and all of her propagandizing stuff and movies. So I can't really support much she does because the images that she shows of black men are so horrendously, just horrendous and negative. And it's sort of ironic considering that she's doing everything that she can to look like a black man, that she wants to promote such negative stereotypes and project negative images of black men,
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, me personally, I don't give two hot cents about the story. The only reason I'm doing that story is for comparison's sake. I'm going to release sometime either tomorrow or Wednesday that story, and I'm going to release it the same time I release the stock market story I'm going to cover today. And I just want to see which one gets the most views because
you already know.
I'm running something with people here that they're always on me. Okay, can you do more of the positive? And when I do the positive, it doesn't get no views and nobody watches it. But if they see a story,
the people that show up here, the people that show up here, the live streams that are active, these are the ride or dies. The other people that show up because they're just searching for stuff, they always want to go with the BS. They want to watch the bull, and that's what they get.
All I can say is God bless them. I hope they find happiness. Next story is something I've been trying to help my man Larry on, and that is swing trading in the stock market. Woo, ladies and gentlemen. And to answer Tressa C's question, yes, when you're doing well in the stock market and you're doing so well that it's becoming a part-time job, maybe even a full-time job, you want to get an LLC. And of course, your situation may differ from mine or anyone else's, but a typical standard LLC for you will be something like a C Corp. You get an LLC C Corp so that, let's just for example's sake, say you bring in $100,000. You can pay yourself a wage of about 25 grand, and that will be taxed on all the different things that an employee would get a tax from. And the rest of it will be taxed as ordinary capital gains. And that way, so think of it like this. The part that you put is 20 grand that you made as an income is going to have your FICA, your Social Security, all that other stuff. And the part that you put as just ordinary capital gains is going to be taxed at 15 to 20% depending upon your bracket. But I said all that to say this. Swing trading, ladies and gentlemen, is defined as the process of buying a stock and trading it before a year is up. Whereas, day trading is you buy a stock today and you sell it before the day's up. Well, I'm going to give you guys my two best swing trades that I've done last week and this week. The first one is this little thing right here. Arrow, ladies and gentlemen, AYRO. As you can see, I bought that stock for $2.88 and I got 200 shares. It ended today, ladies and gentlemen, $10 and some change. And I'm about to get up out of it. I will be getting up out of it. That's called a swing trade. And there's great opportunities in the EV space. That's in the EV space. Take a look at that one. The other one that I'm swinging is Roku. And I just got this one today. I bought in at $272.43 a share, and I got 100 shares. And ladies and gentlemen, this stock ended today at $277.85, something to that effect, all in one day. You add those two numbers up, that's $2,000 in a day. That's the power of swing trading. Getting in, getting out. Larry, what are you eyeballing to swing trading?
Yeah, I need to figure out when I'm going to get out of a couple of these stocks I'm in, because I've picked a few really good winners here. Let me pull up my TD account there. But some of them that I've actually that I picked have done really, really well. Like my XPEV, that EP or XPEV.
XPing.
XPing, yeah, I bought that at $23, and they
Good
closed
God
today
Almighty.
at 74.55.
Good.
So
Googly move. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, me and Larry was telling you guys about that IPO. We told you about the LI IPO, LI Motors, XPing Motors. We've been sitting here helping you guys make them life gains from March till now. Some of y'all probably rich by now. And Larry riding the wave too. So what you gonna do with that XPing, Larry?
I don't know, man. Part of me is like, I want to take profit on it, but part of me is like, I just want to hold on it and see what it does. So, I mean, I don't have a lot. I only have 30 shares of it, but I'm thinking maybe I sell like 15. I mean, even at this point, it says the market value of it's $2,200 on my shares, on my 30 shares. And I only paid, I think $700 for it. So for the 30, so I mean, I could sell half of it and get my money out.
That's
I
what
mean, I
you
don't
should
even need
do.
to sell half to get my money. I think I could sell probably 5 or 7 shares or something like that and get my money out, and then just let the rest of it ride.
That's what you should do. Sell enough shares to get your equity back, and then go jump on something else that's growing too, Larry. That's how you make them gains in the stock market. Get them
Yeah,
gains, baby. Get them
there's a
gains.
couple like your LI that you were mentioning. I bought them, but I only bought 10 shares of them. I bought them at $15 and they're at 45 now.
Tell
Another
them
one
about
that
Neo.
I brought
Oh
up
my
to
God.
you,
Yeah.
Candy, which I bought. I bought 100 shares of them at $8 at 8.54, and they're up today to 16.36. So I have no plans to get out of Candy. I'm in with them for the long haul. I think Candy's going to be a big winner soon, because Candy has they have EV cars that are very inexpensive. Like, they have EV cars that are coming in there at the price. Like, I don't know, for you old heads like us, you may remember when Hyundai first came to the market and they were cheap. I mean, back then you could buy a brand new Hyundai Excel, I think it was, for like $39.95.
Yeah,
It was, I mean, it was crazy cheap. And people were buying the heck out of it, because if you were a kid who needed a first car, or if you were fresh out of college and you had a low paying job but you needed to get to work, you can get a brand new car that would work. It may not, at the time they weren't the most reliable.
No.
I mean, it may have ran for 2-3 years and then started to break down on you.
Yeah.
But if you had that car for 3 years, that's $1,000 a year for that car, for the cost of ownership before it just died on you, maybe, or maybe like $1,300. But basically, it was a good enough car to do what you wanted to do. And Candy is coming in that same space with low price EV cars at like $7,900, $8,000. They're less than $10,000 with the tax credits that you get for them. And so I'm excited about that, because I think a lot of people that would like to have an electric vehicle, but just don't want to spend $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a really high-end electric vehicle, I think this is going to be a way that a lot of people can get in on it. So
right. And ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday, I'll give you guys my hot list of all the stocks most of the stocks I have in my portfolio that are having great growth now and are going to have growth when the economy is open back up and people are taking their vaccines. I got a bunch of them we're messing with right now, especially
now,
dealing with
stock
renewables.
I'm a little salty on you about, because when I first brought it up to you, you said, nah, don't get it. It's too, you don't really make any money off these low price stocks. And that one is DPW. DPW is a holding company. They do EV charging stations, and they just announced that they signed a deal with a number of big chain restaurants to put in EV charging stations and the parking lots at a number of these big chain restaurants, and their stock went up today from like $2 and something up to $7. They had a $5 jump today in their stock. So
Well, when did you hear about that news?
When about the stock jump? Just today. I just heard about it today. When I opened up my, that's one of those stocks I kind of been following, and
Right.
I should have jumped on it earlier, because when I saw it earlier, when I first saw the jump, it was at like 350 or something like that, or 370. It was up barely like $1 when I first saw it, and I was like, yeah, it's gonna go up probably $1 or something, and then it's gonna just hold. And it went up 5. I should have bought it right when I saw it moving like that, and then just let it ride and got rid of it. I should have bought. I mean, even if I bought 100 shares and it went up another $1, I still would have made $100. But this, I mean, I could have bought 100 shares at 3 something, and I would have made a couple $100 by the end of the day. So, I mean, it started the day range on this. It opened up at like 305. It went down at one point to 275, and then it went all the way up to 793, and it went back down and closed at 719. So, I mean, that thing was moving today. It was moving. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it gets up and moves again tomorrow. So,
well, then you can get up there and you can buy it tomorrow and jump out.
I'm seriously thinking about it.
You could always do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll bring you guys a list of some other stuff I'm looking at. There are some, like I said, there are some plays I've got in the EV space. There are some computing plays. There are semiconductor plays. I'm kind of got a lot of diversification in my portfolio of things I'm looking at. And I've even got
your Panther moved today.
Yeah. I mean,
he's been telling me about a stock called Panther, which I've been hard-headed on and just haven't wanted to get in on for some reason. And it moved today $2.89. So I mean, 100 shares of that would have put me at, an almost, $289 gain if I would have got in earlier.
And I told Larry about them when they first hit the market at $9 when I jumped in, and I'm still sitting on my shares that I bought in at $9.
Yeah.
I think, and I want to say I've even mentioned it up here too, because they was one of the companies that didn't go through that BS mess where they give it to private investors first, so that when it hits the retail market, you basically are funding the private investors because they take all their money and yank it on out. Then you've got to wait a couple of weeks for the stock to go back up. Panther didn't do that. They just came out, the price is what it is, and we'll wait for you guys to bid it on up. So,
well, I'm going to tell you about GE too, because I know you were talking bad about me about buying GE stocks, saying, don't get GE and Ford. And GE, I bought them. I did buy some of them at $5. I bought some of them at 5 something a share, and then they went up and I bought some more. So my average price is like $6.50, but they closed today over $10. And it looks like they're going to keep going. It looks like they might actually keep going, and I don't know if they're going to reach their former glory, but they might actually do something. So that's one of those stocks where I feel like you can get and just hold it and live with it.
Yeah, I might even try to do a standalone video, ladies and gentlemen, about different stocks I'm messing around with right now that I want to see you guys take advantage of for the future and make some decent money. And I'll try to break things down, because people use a lot of terms and they don't tell you what it means. Like, for example, swing trading. What's the difference between that, long-term investing, day trading, or price to earnings ratio? What does the earning calls mean? When should you jump in? All the stuff that we have learned over time, I'll try to bring it to you guys and help you make some good money. Because everybody that's still in here listening to me and Larry, I want to see you guys do 6 figures in the stock market next year. And I believe you can, because everything I do, I typically tell you guys about it and I put it online. The only thing that you guys haven't seen me do a whole lot of is options. And I do a lot of them, and I win most of them. I just haven't put them online, but I will be trying to bring another video to do that. And one stock I want to mention to you guys is Riot Blockchain. And cryptocurrency has been really, really hot. Riot Blockchain is a company that mines cryptocurrencies. So I'm not really ready to fully invest in cryptos, but I am ready to invest in blockchain technology because that technology can be applied to other areas of life besides cryptocurrency. And Riot, the company that does the crypto mining, they do engage in other things besides just mining cryptocurrency. They engage in data mining for companies with blockchain technology. And that stock 2 weeks ago was $3. It ended today $7.20. Take a look at
Wow.
Riot. The ticker symbol is RIOT.
It's Riot.
Yeah, it's Riot. Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, it's Riot. All right, last one we're going to cover, ladies and gentlemen. And this is thanks to my big homie, Brandon, over at Just My Opinion Reviews. Larry, Black Panther 2. And I'm still sad, Larry. I can't sit here and lie to you. I'm still sad that T'Challa is gone. But they released this information about the cast. And basically, they were set to start filming in March, but they pushed that back to July. And I guess the biggest takeaway from this is they've acquired Tenet Hireta, who played in Narcos. He's joining the film as an antagonist. And of course, Winston Duke, Letitia Wright, Lupita is coming back. And they're basically saying that Letitia's Wright character is going to be taking a more substantial role, which I'm telling you, they're going to make her the Black Panther. But Larry, the question about this guy, Tanika, whatever his name is, who do you think they're going to make him as an antagonist? There's only one person he could be, Larry. Now, granted, he looks Hispanic to me. He doesn't look Asian. And the reason why I mentioned that is because we've all been talking about Namor getting into the universe. This is what Namor looks like. Larry, do they look similar?
No, not totally dissimilar, but I mean, he looks more Asian as far as
Pacific Islander or something like that.
He looks Indian, and he looks Indian Asian, like we call Indians everywhere else. They call them Asians. He looks more along those lines, but he doesn't look big enough to be a Namor. He must be planning on bulking up or something.
Oh man, do you know they can fix that? They can fix that. I mean, I don't see what else they're going to do with him. This guy's definitely going to be Namor. Definitely going to be. If they make him something else, I will give somebody $100 worth of free stock. He is definitely going to be Namor. And if he's not Namor, Larry, who would you like to see him be?
That's a good question. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Part of me's thinking, yeah, I don't know. I've had my heart really set on them bringing Michael B. Jordan back as as Killmonger, because I really think the way they left it off. I truly believe that having Killmonger come back as some sort of villain, or not even a villain, even if he comes back as like he comes in, maybe Letitia's character takes over the Black Panther and she's fighting off whoever else and gets to the point where maybe Wakanda's about to get overwhelmed, and all of a sudden here comes Killmonger back in the mix, because not only is he fighting, he's fighting the bad guy, but really he's been about Wakanda. He's a Wakandian, and he's like, look, I don't like the way you guys do stuff, but this is still my country. These are my people, and I'm not going to watch my people get slaughtered. I didn't want to watch my people out there in the world get slaughtered. I don't want to watch my people here in Wakanda get slaughtered either. So it'd been great if they brought him back. So, but in any case, with all these folks, they need to give these folks some double cheeseburgers or something, because Letitia is really skinny. That dude looks like he's skinny. Everybody needs to put some weight on if they're trying to play superheroes. I mean, I was just looking at a photo yesterday where they were showing what's his name, Chris Hemsworth getting all yoked up for his new Thor movie. This dude looked like a daggone giant. I mean, it was ridiculous how swole that dude was. I was like, you can't just bring regular old people in there and just say, well, we're gonna put them on a diet so their abs show through. Nah, these people need to bulk up. I want my superheroes looking super.
Well, the thing that I learned through all this bodybuilding and changing my body is the leaner you are, the bigger you look on cameras and TV. Meaning that if you was to come and stand beside someone who looks really ripped on camera, their waist is probably like this big. But on TV, they look like they're jacked. And Chris Hemsworth has been doing this new, well, it's not new, but he's been doing more high intensity resistance training where you don't really take a lot of breaks. And whenever I need to get really, really lean, I do the same damn thing. It's called CrossFit. And that shit works, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to burn up some fat and you're eating a good diet, you're eating a proper diet for fat loss, throw in some CrossFit type training with your normal training, and you'll be shredded literally in 3 months if you're at the right body fat. But in terms of what they're going to do on TV, they could just throw a little CGI here and there, shoot, 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 and everybody look like a superhero last call. See, what they do is what T-Pain used to do. We know good and damn well T-Pain couldn't. He had the T-Pain box. And what they do in Hollywood is they CGI you. So, hey, it is what it is.
But, you know, if you take someone like Chris Pratt, right? And you put him next to Chris Hemsworth, it's night and day. It is not. You take someone like what's his name, Jason Statham, and you put him next to The Rock. Both of those dudes are cut dudes, are on swole. But when you put Jason Statham next to Chris Rock, he looks like me.
That's because The Rock took steroids, man, and your boy, to our knowledge, ain't never took no steroids.
Yeah, well,
you know, and that's. So I mean, if
these dudes are competing in the Olympics, they're making movies. You know,
I mean, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm just telling you what the difference is. It don't matter to me how you got there. It's just I would like to see you get there in a healthy manner that's not going to cause you to have arteriosclerosis and kick the bucket when you're 60, like all these wrestlers that took steroids. But I'm just telling you, that's why he looks bigger than Jason Statham, who is really, really ripped. It's because the dude is on steroids, man. And
I agree with you, but I agree with you about some of these wrestlers. But I feel like the whole steroid thing, you have to do it right too. I mean, when you have as much money as some of these dudes do, you can do it. You can have a medically supervised steroid regime so that you can do it right and that damage your health. I mean, you look at someone like Sylvester Stallone. This dude's still jacked, and he's like 70 years old now. But he's been doing steroids forever. But he's also been doing it with, medically supervised so he doesn't mess everything up.
Nah, he got caught coming. Do you remember he got caught coming through Australia with undocumented HGH? And they got him for having the intent to sell because he had so much of it. And
I'm not saying the dude's not obtaining it improperly, or maybe he obtained it all legally. Maybe he just wasn't supposed to be in Australia. I'm just thinking he probably has doctors that are telling him, here's how you should take it, here's the dosage you should take, here's how long you should cycle off, and he probably is using it in a medically supervised fashion, because otherwise you use it for that long and this shit will kill you.
It depends. I mean, I can agree to some of that. I can definitely agree to some of that, but I've just seen dudes who, and I guess back in his day, because he's old school. He's like old school. And the old school bodybuilders I've been around, they kill people my generation and younger for abusing steroids by what they would take in a week. They say these young boys are taking in a day. They say these young kids are taking that in a day, which is why you're seeing them drop like flies. So, in any event, ladies and gentlemen, I just hope that the movie is good. I think it can be good, but that void of Chadwick Boseman, I can't sit here and lie to you guys. I'm going to go in that theater. He's definitely going to be on my mind. I hope that at the end, or maybe in the beginning, that they at least show his picture, do a tribute, some kind of sad music or something, because I'm just not going to be over it. And maybe Larry will get his wish. Maybe they will bring Killmonger back to do something, or maybe they'll have M'Baku take a bigger role, because I think he started becoming a fan favorite at the end too. So
he's definitely a fan favorite. I hope if they do a tribute, I hope they do it at the end and not at the beginning. I don't want to go into the movie with like this sense of sadness and whatever. I would rather enjoy the movie, and then simply at the end they can say, you know, dedicated to blah blah blah, and do their dedication. Everybody sticks around at the end of Marvel movies anyways, because they know there's always going to be, you know, those post trailer scenes. So
yep. So, well, ladies and
post
gentlemen,
credit scenes. Sorry.
Yep. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We're out of here. Be safe, mask up. Coronavirus is still running rampant, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to address this thing before we get out of here called coronavirus fatigue. Ladies and gentlemen, at every phase of your life, there comes a point where you start hitting a wall. And when you hit that wall usually is the barrier between you, success, and greatness. Right now, America is hitting the wall of fatigue with coronavirus. People who have been practicing all the things that the doctors are telling us, social distancing, wearing a mask, not going in big crowds. It's Thanksgiving, and a lot of people are falling back on their old pre-coronavirus laurels because they just had it with it. They've had it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to hang in there. Vaccine is coming. And even when the vaccine gets here, you still got to hang in there a little while longer so that we can get things back to a normal place of being. I just saw something on Friday saying that more studies are coming out that even if you get coronavirus and don't have symptoms, there's still some kind of systemic damage that it does long term. We've already heard about the heart issues in young people. Now they're saying there's more systemic damage. So, ladies and gentlemen, please get through this wall and greatness will await you. Larry, get us out of here.
Yeah, I'll just say, you know, wear your mask to protect yourself. If you have masks that will actually protect you, wear those, because there's a lot of idiots out there that don't want to wear one. And, you know, that's what it is. At this point, I'm just telling people, protect yourself. I'm not going to tell you not to worry about your fellow man, but worry about yourself first, because there's a lot of people out there that don't care about you, and they don't even care about themselves. And people who don't care about themselves, there's nothing you can do with them. You can't fuss with them. You can't argue with them. You can't change their mind because they don't even care about themselves. So protect yourself first, and anybody else who's protected from you as a consequence, that's just the added benefit.
Right. So, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to go and check out shoplifegains.com. Get yourself a nice t-shirt. Somebody went up there and bought one this weekend. Bought a couple, to be honest with you, and shouts out to them. And until that next Sex is Hell video, we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll see you.
Peace.